with that said, I'm interested to hear your take on the Michigan trial court's funding system's conclusion that it's broken. The criminal justice system is broken because the district courts, 70% of their budgets are funded to fund the other local governments and from court revenues. And if I'm not mistaken, I'm talking about this Michigan trial court commission.
Funding commission report. Yep.
And Judge Boyd was on it. There's a number of different judges all throughout the state, and they all, recommended that the courts, that whoever reads the report, that they follow the recommendations. And the point I wanted to make was that the district courts, I know it's one court of justice, but if you remove the circuit court, you've got the district court left, 70% of their budget is paid for by court revenues from the litigants in front of them. And the conclusion of that is that if that is not bias or, prejudice, there's the appearance of bias, because if it, it's like the judge that you get paid if you sign the search warrant and you don't get paid if you don't sign the search warrant kind of analysis. But what are we going to do about that? What's going to happen here?
It is an enormous fundamental problem. I mean, we're losing the consent of the governed, right? I mean, this is not a sustainable system. Judge Boyd was the chair of the Trial Court Funding Commission. He's now the state court administrator. I brought him in-house because I think this is such a fundamental issue that we have to figure out. But it hasn't squarely come to the Supreme Court as a legal question, the question of how can a judge whose livelihood depends on what income comes in be a fair arbiter of what a proper, fine or fee is? Because we had a set of affidavits in the Cameron case from the district judges, but that particular question wasn't in the case yet. But I wrote a concurring statement, so I'm on record and happy to discuss my view that when it does, I think that's going to be a very hard question for the Supreme Court to answer in any way that doesn't reveal this fundamental problem in the trial court funding system. Well, before we had a pandemic, and the state budget wasn't in the toilet where it is now, there was bipartisan interest in the legislature at figuring out a way forward with the Trial Court Funding Commission recommendations. In fact, there was a bipartisan subcommittee of legislators working on what order they would sort of work through those recommendations in. The budget situation now has changed everything. I haven't had an update on where all of that stands because it's expensive, but it'll complicate it a little bit, that's for sure.